right. Thank you, George. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. And the story is to speed up Bootstrap package delivery with CloudFront. So as an IT admin, I want my hosts to download the Bootstrap package and software installers from the closest CloudFront region so that new employees can get started as fast as possible. So this solves the problem where the employees are located in Asia or somewhere far from the Fleet server, and so they can get their Bootstrap packages and software installers faster. As a note, we kind of split the QA for this story into two parts. The Bootstrap packages are going to get QA'd right away, and the software installers are going to get QA'd with Orbit 1.39.0, which will come out after this release. Okay, so first I want to give some background on kind of what we're doing and the problem we're trying to solve here. So we have most customers are using S3 buckets, and then we have our Fleet server, and then we have our host over here. So what's happening right now is the host is asking our Fleet server for a Bootstrap package or software installer, and the Fleet server is going to S3 to get it. And this could be a slow process. So with when you enable CDN, right? CDN caches this in the cloud all over the world, and then puts copies of that data in all these locations. So then the host will directly go to the closest location and get the data. So this is a much faster download experience, and as a side benefit, it reduces load on our Fleet server. And in my opinion, this should be kind of the recommended way that we serve up software installers and Bootstrap package. Here's another picture, just from geography perspective from Amazon, how CDN works. Everyone just gets their data from their local copy, and there's a lot of CDN locations around the world. Basically, I'm going to show the docs. I'm not going to kind of demo it because you actually don't see anything, because the server basically replaces the MDM URL with a CDN URL, and I'm going to show the CDN URL shortly, but I kind of will go through how to set this up. So we added server configs, these 3 server configs that all have to be set. The URL, which looks like this, and then we're also requiring the use of signed URLs that require a public key and a private key, so that way only a signed URL can download a package, a Bootstrap package or a software installer. So this is a recommended security precaution. So we're not allowing just using publicly available CloudFront URLs. And then here I'm going to show you how the signed URL looks like. In this API example, this is kind of what Orbit's going to see as when it asks for software install details. It will now get this installer URL content that it can use to download, and the Orbit is going to try to download this URL. If it's not able to, it'll just fall back to the previous endpoint, downloading directly from Fleet. As you can see in this URL, we have expiration date here, and then we have this long signature, which is basically the policy for downloading, and then we have this public key that we saw in the previous doc. And then lastly, we have this guide. We kind of explain that we point to configuration options, mention them here. The URL is good for 6 hours. If the server hits an error, it'll fall back to the previous way, directly to Fleet server. And then I already mentioned if the agent hits an error when downloading, it'll fall back to the previous. Now, one challenge here is that it may be a little bit hard to test whether the CDN is working. One way to test it is to actually do the enroll a new Mac OS and make sure the Bootstrap package is downloaded correctly. You can also look at logs. And as a future improvement, what we might want to do is we might want to, in setup experience, allow people to download this Bootstrap package from the CDN. So currently it is downloaded through Fleet, but it'd be nice if we were able to download this via CDN just for testing purposes. All right, that's all I had. Any questions?
Looks like there's some questions in the chat, Victor.
A lot of bromide stuff.
Does Orbit use Amazon's SDK, and do they have public keys pinned?
Orbit does not. Orbit receives the URL. So in order to generate this signed URL, this is just generated locally using the private key, right? So the server does not need to go out anywhere to generate this signature. It generates it locally.
Oh, what about you, Brock?
I was just wondering if we could add a test button there so that you didn't have to do an actual enrollment to see if the thing was working. Just some tiny package.
Yes, I do recommend this as a follow-on story. In fact, it would be even better if you could able to in config switch between CDN and non-CDN and be able to try both of them.
Yeah, cool.
Cool. Can we capture that in the design thread for the demo?